Oh, I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
you're
I thought
good.
we had-
You're good.
we've had a couple weeks. My husband had a surgery. He came home and then had to have another surgery because they clipped an artery.
Oh, shoot.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, we went down and we got out this weekend and went running about and did some fun. We volunteered at the golf tournament and
Oh, cool.
went down and checked out the Rock Island Bridge down there.
Gotcha.
And went out to grab some food downtown and we got out.
What kind of help issues do you have going on?
Yeah. His heart wasn't really pumping like it should. It was like at 10%. And he was in constant AFib. So they did it, long story short, they did an ablation and they put Watchman in. And the Watchman is like a little device that helps prevent stroke. So they go up to the groin and they put everything, and that all went okay, except for clipped an artery. And he kept getting, I mean, bruise, it just went like that.
Oh, shoot.
So we were in the ER last Sunday night. They did his procedure on Monday. I came here to team meeting on Tuesday and picked him up to bring him home Tuesday afternoon. So he goes back to the doctor on Tuesday. But I mean, he's feeling good. No more internal bleeding.
Wow.
And so, but, yeah,
And Teresa's husband's had.
he's had cancer.
Yeah.
You know, he went through a bout where we didn't think he was gonna make it, and then he's bounced back a bit, so, he's still doing treatments. And he's weak, but he's up and out and doing things with the kids, you know, seeing the grandkids. Going
Is he similar age?
He's like 10 years older than her.
Okay.
Mhm.
She's 60.
Okay, she's older than me.
Yeah, I'm 56, so I was against she.
She's older, okay, and I'm a little bit younger than you, so she's probably maybe 58.
Okay.
I did an open house for her yesterday.
Oh, cool.
Saw her and her sister.
Where is it gonna what?
You know, Josh is not gonna be here if he comes in.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to get the file uploaded so our person on Zoom can see it too.
Gotta keep my ringer on because I have a weird floaty thing in my eye and I'm waiting for the eye doctor to come back.
Oh.
So I've never had one before and it basically looks like I see a jellyfish with his eye all the time. And it's got like a black outline around it. So it's really cool. So I called the doctor yesterday and said, hey, the eye doctor. So they may call back if that happens.
All right.
But
Yeah.
you gotta turn our ringer off. So
You do need a pen.
I'm missing your branding class. That's right.
It'll be on the YouTubes.
Hi, Jake.
Hi. So Taylor, how have you been?
I'm good.
You closed one, right?
Yeah, or two.
The parents' house and
They
Cool.
bought one.
cool. So
Oh,
how'd
nice.
that go?
The sell was more smooth than the buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The buy was a model home,
Okay.
and so the builder said that they had an occupancy license, but they didn't have their final occupancy license. When we made when we signed everything and all that, because of a water issue, because I guess Creekmore has a lot of like grading and water issues with like flooding.
Okay.
So they were still working with the city with that. Fix that. So we had to do all that.
What do you mean?
before we could close anything like
I
that.
mean, it shows it there, but then on Zoom, the main screen
It's
is.
a little hiccup, but we got it done.
Good. Good.
Well, you hit escape.
So would you ever work with your parents again? This is being recorded, baby, so be careful. No, just kidding.
I mean, I would obviously, but
We're
Yeah.
screen shared, so that's my
You
screen.
charge full commission? Then I gotcha. You charge some commission? Okay, good deal. Good. Of
So I could
I did.
course, do you live at home still? Okay, so that makes sense.
have to approve it on one that we're logged in on.
Fun.
Stay in the house.
Let me go.
I imagine not.
I mean, it was a really nice house, so I was like, I mean, yeah, nice house, guys.
Cool.
But
Okay, we're on two different Zooms.
they were originally gonna try
So
to
we're on this one.
sit for a
Okay.
little bit and then look at some,
Nope, okay.
there was a lot in Creekmeadows, Cunningham Four, but it wasn't available yet at the time.
Mm.
But they wanted that model
So
home
we're not
originally
prepared,
on
yeah.
that lot, but it ended up being a little bit.
Let me
more
go
than expected.
approve it.
Okay,
It was in the
sounds good.
lines.
Thank you.
And they're like, no, that's too much. And then the builder was like, okay, well, let's stop being for buying this house, the model home. And he was like, you guys are going around something. And they whipped up a deal. But the builder was like, yeah, like we're all clear to sell it. And they were,
Ah, gotcha. So you learn some stuff in the process.
yeah.
Yeah, and there are a lot of agents who have probably been doing this 5 years and haven't, or more, and haven't sold a new build. So that's kind of it's a little different. Can be if there's, especially if there's stuff they're still completing or whatever.
Yeah.
But
And the contract is a builder's contract.
yeah, that's different too. Did they still do inspections?
No, we're good now.
Nope.
Good, ma'am.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Gotcha. I encourage that, even on new stuff, but because there's like places where the builder maybe forgot insulation in the attic or something
Yeah.
silly like that, and it's important.
Do you have a 10,000 surety bond? Pretty much. It's just for like, it's mostly for the sub pump because the sub pump was the water issue they're creating. Because it was going on, it was like flooding in the west, and then it was going onto public sidewalk, which was public safety for the city.
Oh wow.
So the city was stocking that. And then there was a backyard flooding situation, but that was more so with the neighbors. And the neighbors were trying to get it fixed by the builders because they were the same builders. But the neighbors stopped the builders from building that house when it was in the framing stage. So the
Gotcha.
builders and the neighbors had like a personal dispute.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, and they told us about it, like problems about this house, and we were like, what problems?
Oh geez.
So 10,000 surety is like for any repairs or anything that we need during, I think it's for a year, the first year.
Interesting. All right, so we won't judge anybody for phones going off in meetings since we're all, well, this is our job. So so don't worry about that. So Ashley, you want to?
Yeah.
We were out of town last week, so the presentation was just worked on in the last couple of days. So some of it.
Well, and a lot of it's stuff that we learned and kind of enhanced on at our conference that we were at last week. So when you think branding, a lot of times people think just the logos, the colors, the fonts, those types of things. We're kind of going to go a little more into that and do your personal brand. So what is it? Who are you? Who do you understand? Who can you serve? Who are your ideal clients? Like those types of things, more than what should your logo look like and what colors should it be?
And why are you best suited to serve those people? So, there was when I was in 7th grade, I lived with my dad and stepmom down in Oklahoma. And dad was Air Force and my stepmom worked for a bank. But a coworker of hers, her husband worked for 7-Up. And at that time, 7-Up had marketed, you would know this, neither of you would, but they were marketing themselves as the Uncola, and of course they had this Jamaican guy, crisp and clean and no caffeine. That was their whole thing on their marketing. And there was also the big Pepsi Coke challenge and the cola wars going on. So 7-Up created Like Cola. Ever heard of it? I bet you didn't. Most people didn't. It didn't last like a year. But they had Like Cola, a decaffeinated, uncaffeinated cola product. It sucked. Because a lot of reasons it sucked was people were like, "Is it like cola? Is it not like cola?" Because they've been branding themselves as the Uncola for years, and it failed. And they did the research into it, like a lot of products, that determined that they didn't really identify who their clients would be, who their buyers would be, before they made a product that they spent a bunch of money on. They didn't identify how they're going to find those people, and more importantly, how you're going to get them to switch to your product from the other options that are very well established. And the same with our business. if we want to put something out there for ourselves and how we're the better option, or while we're best suited to help a specific person, we got to figure out who we're marketing towards in the first place. And Roy Vaden, he's written a lot of books about branding and marketing, and he says we're best suited to sell to help the people who are most who, who we once were. Sorry, we're best suited to help the people who we once were. So you're a young person, she's a little older, you know, your ideal demographic to market to probably isn't me or Lisa. So, but hers might be someone who's in a relationship, been in a relationship a long time, married, maybe moved recently, because she's done that, you know. She's moved twice. She moved out to Wyoming because her ex-husband was in the military. So she's dealt with that a little bit, and fortunately changed that. But and then, you know, Lisa's retired from a career but still working. And so there's other people. She knows teachers, she knows educators, she knows a lot of people in that space who could retire at an early age and maybe our second job or new career, or maybe traveling in an RV. And she's really well suited to help them, you know. And I've been divorced more times than I care to admit, and I've been through life changes, and I've got elderly parents and a mom at least, and there's just different people I can connect with there. So if you think about who your most like, or who you have the most in common with, whether it's life experiences or your current situation, that might be who your brand should be created for. So was that, sorry, I just was adding. What do they say? You're known for it. Go for it.
You got it.
Okay. So what's next, kid?
So, and we're gonna workshop it. We're not gonna just like lecture teach it.
Sure. Okay.
So some of these questions that we'll put up on the screen are on the worksheet. The worksheet you can fill out while we're here, or you can take it with you to kind of like brainstorm. Either is totally okay. But when someone refers you to what do they say that you're known for
We're good at.
or good at? And it doesn't have to be just real estate that you're good at or known for.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I don't know, school district stuff.
So connections
Connections,
and
yeah.
And school district knowledge, I think, is important.
Knowledge, community knowledge. Some of those hard questions I can probably answer, you know. I have a very deep understanding of how that operates and how it plays into the community and tax bases and, you know, all of that stuff. Programs that are offered.
cool. And Taylor, your situation is different because you're younger and you don't have the experiences, right? So what do you think would be a good start for you to figure out as part of your brand, or who you would want to help?
Well, I've been serving for 2 years, so I mean, I've worked with a lot of different people, like age gaps,
Mhm.
youngs, old, blue collar, and all of it. I've worked with a lot of them, so I don't really know who
So
to talk to almost anybody.
yeah. So you say you're a server? Where at?
Started Settlement Summit.
Okay. So what do people, you have people that ever come in and request that you help them or be the server?
Yeah, 2 regulars.
Why would they do that?
Well, one of them is a younger crowd,
Ah.
so probably just relatability and being easy to talk to. But I have older crowds as well. I don't know, I guess I just try to like find similarities with people and I try to talk about that.
That's cool. And I think that's important when, I mean, if I'm sitting down on a listing appointment, someone I don't really know very well, I mean, I try to figure out some kind of connection, you know, and whether they've been in the community forever, or whether actually I wanted an appointment recently, 80-ish-year-old couple, but the old guy's
His
been involved in scouting
his
forever.
email was something Boy Scout related.
So, he's been involved in scouting for a long time, and his kids, his kid's an Eagle Scout. We talked about scouts a little bit, unrelated to anything, but we had a connection. And sometimes a listing appointment, you can look around the house and see pictures of things, like maybe they fish or maybe they hunt or play ball or whatever, something that you can relate to, and that can be an easy kind of conversation. We all get caught up in looking at the condition of the house, but you can look for cues that can make a conversation easier and more relatable. But yeah, I think it's harder. And I know when Josh was 18, you know, he felt like he lacked credibility because he hadn't done anything and hadn't really lived anywhere but Belton, and didn't know much, but he knew a lot about Belton, you know. And you grew up here, right?
I grew up so.
East Summit, okay, and you're in Raymore now, but you know the area, right? And you know, okay, and then you've got some of these people that use you, request you as a server, especially the older folks. There's something they like about you. That you do a good job. You take care of their needs, and you know, somehow I think that can apply to real estate too. You know, that you listen, you respond to you're receptive to what people need or want and their preferences. And I think that's important. Communication styles and things. So there's an option for you too.
For those of you in Zoom land, when we're asking questions, if you want to answer them, I believe you should be good to unmute and you can answer verbally, or you can type it in the comments. I do have chat pulled up too.
Who's out there?
Yelena and June.
Cool. They can be unmuted and just interject whenever.
Yeah.
So cool. Ash, what about you, Ash? And you're newer to this too.
Yeah,
All three
and
of you are newer to this, I guess.
yeah, all three of us are, I think.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
You're the old guy
Yeah, I'm
in
the
the group.
old guy.
I think
Yeah.
I think for me, one big thing that I'm doing and trying to like integrate myself into more to build some clientele and make connections is trying to, because I haven't lived in the area for the last 13 years, up until last September, I'm trying to like reconnect with like former classmates and stuff. So we're starting to plan a 15-year class reunion because my class hasn't ever had a class reunion. Our 15 years next spring. So we have like a group of like 10 or like 15 or 20 of us that are planning to go to like our all class reunion to the all class reunion that the school district does. Because we don't have to do any planning for that. Just sign up. Yeah, it's homecoming week.
Yeah.
Sign up and pay your $20 or whatever. And
I went a few years ago. I was one of the younger people there. So
it happens. I'm working on it. Not this year. So I'm trying to rebuild some of those connections because a lot's changed. I mean, in the 15 years from when, the 14 years since we graduated high school. A lot of the people that I was maybe friends with or close acquaintances with in high school aren't the same people that I would be friends with now. So I'm working on rebuilding some of those connections because a lot of them are people that are married, just had, having kids, younger kids, maybe wanting to upsize and get into a bigger house because their family's growing or they want to be on more land because hobby farming is a cool thing right now or whatever. So I'm doing some of that. The other side that I'm trying to kind of get into a little bit more and build some connections is the rural small business owners, because I live in a very rural, small business driven community. So I'm attending my first chamber event with the Richmond, Missouri Chamber of Commerce. They said they usually have like 30 people. It's an 80s themed after hours
That'd be fun.
happy hour
That'd be fun.
on Thursday.
Well, and the value in chamber and other networking things is not just meeting people, but it's also down here, if she wanted to refer someone to a plumber or something, she just hollers at me. We can probably figure that out. Up there,
I don't know
anybody. And so she really needs to develop that network to be useful for people up there.
I met an HVAC guy that's nice.
Yep.
His dad's an agent though.
Dad's a realtor, yes.
He's the one that was listing agent on our house.
So he's not going to send her any business. So, but it's good to have that connection to refer to someone else. So,
It is. That's a great way to do it. When we moved out here 15 years ago, I had to join the chamber of the school district, and that's how I didn't know anybody. To live in
Yeah.
the house. I called Lonnie to get a recommendation or the chamber.
Yeah, when I was in Cheyenne, I was a founding board member and then the president of our downtown association. Um, so I did that for a few years. So like I really developed that community there and had those relationships. And I was in Cheyenne for like all of my adulthood until last September. So it was a big step. So I'm just rebuilding all of those connections and stuff. But I'm really trying to help or guide my marketing some toward the people that are looking to maybe move from a first time home to the next one. Also getting me out of those 250 price points to those 400 up price points because
or better.
we're yeah 400 or
I stopped there, but yeah.
I'm not.
But and she lives on acreage. She lives in a barn dominium, and we've talked about maybe
And I have a
work on
septic.
some
We
of
have
that.
well.
Oh.
We had a well at our old house, so like those are things I have knowledge of that people that have
Yeah.
lived in Belton their whole lives
Don't.
don't have any idea.
Right. And that's where we're talking brand, and then marketing is separate. But in marketing, she can put out a message about hey, I can help you with this kind of stuff, or even like I created a little flyer. Let's get off topic. Never mind. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. But yeah, so a lot of my marketing or branding, I should say, is, and they get interchanged. Branding and marketing are different but related. A lot of my branding has been, and see how to figure this out. At my age, a lot of people our age, if our parents are still around, they sometimes have been in a house a long time and need some help with stuff, whether it's fixing the house up, because a lot of them have fixed incomes or whatever, and they don't want to spend that money on stuff. And then when it's time, there's usually a couple reasons our parents move, and it's because they have to, because they had a stroke or they have health issues, or because they finally come to the realization that the washer and dryer in the basement isn't really a good combination with their health, knees, hips, whatever, or balance. And then so we're in with that crowd, that's a whole different animal. And there's a lot of different needs for those people. And frankly, more patience, because if they've got a house full of 40 years of stuff, it's probably not going to be cleaned out and ready to list in a month. So, and that's where your marketing plan changes, and your follow up and all that stuff has to adapt. And where you might run into a 20-something-year-old or a 20-something couple who's they finished school, they've been at a job for a year, they're making, like one of Josh's friends got out of college and immediately was making almost 90 grand a year as an engineer. He had a job 2 weeks after he got out of college. He's since bought his parents' house. They moved to a brand new place in the 55 and up community. And they're the youngest people there. And, so there's opportunities like that where you figure out who you want to serve, who you're comfortable serving because of what you know. And it's much easier than trying to say you're someone who helps everybody when you maybe don't have the skills or knowledge to really help everybody, and you're winging it on stuff, and then you can do a bad job and maybe not look good. So, but thoughts? I think
Where I get stuck with that is wanting to be fair, because like
Yeah.
right now being new, I just want business. I want
Right,
business. I want
right.
to learn. I want business. I want to stay busy. Really can't pick and choose yet.
right.
I would like to narrow that focus down. I've kind of learned some of the things that I don't prefer doing, but I'll do it.
Right.
Because right now, beggars can't be choosy, and I'm gonna
Correct.
go out there and learn all I can. And if somebody wants to buy or sell, I'm gonna say yeah,
Right.
because I need to develop
Sure.
those skills and those connections.
True.
So for me, it's getting to a point to where there is enough business to be able to hone in on something. But I
Right.
definitely have started like with my like mailers and things like that. I have narrowed down where I am mailing those to kind of funnel that business this way. So if
Sure.
this comes up, I'll take it, but I really want to put my efforts towards subdivisions and things like,
Right.
that kind of stuff.
Like in my business, and my working with the seniors, the biggest three challenges with when I go sit with a 70 or 80-year-old couple is, where are we going to go? Do we have to fix a lot of crap on our house, or do we not? We don't really want to. And what do we do with all our stuff? So I've got a couple of really strong estate sale people. I've got the college hunks. They'll haul your crap off, your trash, and take stuff to donate. They'll move you anything in that ballpark. And then my biggest challenge is helping them find places to move to. And so like I did a video last week on Morning View. No, on Morning.
Yes, it's morning
The
view.
Morning View. Yeah, did a Morning View. But yeah, so I'm looking at finding places for these people to move to. And I think my next step, once I'm going to do video content about various neighborhoods, I also want to do, and I want to focus on places you can buy, not places you can lease, although I want to be familiar with those because some people might need those. But so I think my next step is to do some postcards and mailers to those people in those communities to find the ones who might want to sell in 6 months. So when I talk to the people on 40 acres who need a home in 6 months, maybe I can solve more problems and get more business because I'm hitting both sides of the market there. And but I mean, with your experience in education, have you? I mean, teachers can retire at like 50, right? If they start teaching, they're 23, 24 years old, they can retire by 50, and life's changing drastically when you retire at a young age. It is 50 is still young, just FYI. So but I mean, if I were in your shoes, I'd figure out that connection. What's unique about that situation, and really lean into that, and because about their retirement, about the benefits and the income side of that, and you got some great insight there. And you also know some of them didn't really make huge money, so
Right.
But I mean, I know Carrie Bryant. You probably know Carrie. Well, she taught in Raymore. She taught in Raymore. You're younger than me. She's been in Cimarron Trails forever. She's single, always lived in this one little duplex in Cimarron Trails, and I'm sure she paid for it decades ago. But it's just, I don't know. I know that, but there's also teachers who put money away and
A
really
lot of folks
are doing well. Yeah,
keep working after this.
right.
So.
True. They go to another district or a state or whatever.
Or just a job.
Yeah, yeah.
Doing something.
Yeah, getting real estate. So,
Yeah.
but even recruiting, you could probably recruit some of them to be agents. So another small source of income. But I don't know. And then, but I think the bigger challenge is for younger agents. I think to me, I think that's a bigger challenge. It doesn't mean it's impossible. There's Elio, young agent down in Houston. Kid's 25. He's got a team of several agents and probably will sell 100 homes this year.
Well, I
So-
think part of the beauty of that too is you're at the age group where, people are going to start buying their first home at some point, and you've got all these friends that are in that market.
Yeah.
And you're their trusted person who, you're gonna have experience doing this now, and why wouldn't they go to you? And then they buy a second home, 5-6 years later. I mean, you can get in and get that repetitive, clientele and get that going, and they'll stay with you forever.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of
That's
it,
great.
I think a lot of it is it's time on task. So, while you're 20, I think you may or may not have 20 years to deal right away. But if you keep your license, and then like Josh is experiencing, he's 25 now. He's got how many buyers you're working with right now? 2 or 3? 3.
2
Trey, Noah,
of 3.
another one. And, they're all looking for the same house pretty much. It's something 225 to 300 pretty much in various communities. And he didn't have that 3 years ago though, and so, I mean, when he's 25 and can say, I've been licensed for 6 years, he doesn't have to say I've sold 200 homes. He can say, I've been licensed for 6 years. I know what I'm doing. And that gives him instant credibility. And he's relatable because he's their age, And so even if you're working, he still had poop scooping business, was still scooping dog poop, sort of most of it still is. So, there's no shame in working something else while you're building this. And I would say, keep your license, keep letting people know what you do, and the business will come, and identifying a brand and figuring out how to market it will be helpful. So go ahead.
Go ahead. Perfect. Um, so just flip your papers over. No, yeah, don't take that to the bathroom.
No.
Zoom Land appreciates that. On the back of your paper, write down 2 or 3 directions that you think your business could go. It doesn't need to be a single niche, so it could be like downsizers with adult children, acreage and outdoor lifestyle, first-time buyers and education, just kind of where you think just 2 or 3. And this is, I'll take my dad's pen because mine's over there. And Zoom Land, feel free to put yours in the chat if you're able to. Hi, Josh.
Looking at mine and they're all completely different.
Mine are too. It's okay.
Yeah. Shotgun approach.
I, by default, lately am working with a lot of, it's just the clients I've gotten. I've got some seniors that are looking to downsize, move to 55, and that's his niche, that's his goal. And I've gotten quite a bit. And it's people that have like reached out to me specifically. I'm like, so I'm learning like Foxwood Springs. I'm learning the way Foxwood works and their different programs and all the things. And there's an agent that gets a lot of the listings over there. Because she used to work there. She used to be.
Right, they can buy those over there.
Yeah, they have like 40 homes in Foxwood you can purchase and own in equity. And then they have their entry fee program that the rest of them
Right, I'm
are.
familiar with the entry fee program.
Yeah. So they have a handful. It's like 20% of the homes that are livable in Foxwood. Me too, girl. So it's like 20% of the homes that are livable in Foxwood can be purchased in equity. Basically,
Treats here. You go.
oh, nice. Because you needed chocolate.
Yeah, I need to talk. I can't keep up by myself eating one.
That's a good call. But it's basically like living in a 55 and up community. They just have a higher HOA, but they maintain all the outside of the building like a condo. It's just a unique kind of situation. But I have a client right now that is super interested in Foxwood only.
Yeah.
So we've been waiting for one to come on the market that is decent. She wants it like updated some. She would prefer it to not have carpet. And she's a cash buyer.
But what's happened to that process? You have to know sales rep.
I'm say we went in and knowing the sales rep is helpful. So we went in and like he had a connection with her and had talked to her previously, but I just went in and I was like, I have a client interested in buying in here, a potential client. It's before my listing, before my buyer's consult with her. I went in and just introduced myself. I was like, what can you tell me? I'm meeting with a lady in 4 hours. What can you tell me? It was a board duty call. I'm like, so let's see what I can learn. And so we've looked at 2 houses over there. There's one that comes on the market tomorrow.
Oh, she got 2 more coming up too.
Different agent.
Waiting
Oh.
to get it over there.
Yeah.
Buy over there.
She wanted to do the entry fee program or
She wants to buy. Got her house listed.
gotcha.
Well, you know, you can buy one of theirs, but then you're buying into the whole progression of care, or there's what, 30% of them are privately owned.
Yeah, like
so-
20%.
So, and that's, you know,
So,
someone has to die or move on for them to become available. And and there's not, but Ashley's made a connection with somebody there. That lady just she sent me 2 referrals in the last 4 months because I've known her for several years now.
so
And
I just go in about once a month. I've gone in and just talked to her, touch base, let her know where we're at.
I've taken them cookies around the holidays too.
Yeah. Taking cookies. They like that.
The top good people.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm trying to muscle in,
Um,
but you know, there's
there are 3, other than the one that comes live tomorrow, there are 3 more coming soon over in Foxwood. That'll be within the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Denise Cox with Reese Nichols is the
Is the one for those 3.
but
Pam Hatcher is the one for the one tomorrow.
oh, yeah. Pam Hatcher, she's delightful.
That's the one that has the new roof.
Yes, yes. So, but there are
It's
there's just different opportunities,
but
and
it's been kind of interesting. That wasn't a niche that I planned on learning as much about as I have when we're looking at our niches and stuff. But now I know the things. So when someone asks me about it, I actually have knowledge and can tell them correct information. And then if you have more questions, I'll get you answers. You know, I'm not going to pretend to be the expert and know Sharice's job, but
she's one of the sales ladies. up there,
she's
so
this like big sales lady, head sales lady over there. I
she's
think
not that big.
she's
She's average size.
she's average.
But
But it's been kind of interesting because we're writing down our prospective niches.
oh, cool.
That's what we did. That's why this came up.
Cool.
But it wasn't something I expected to learn.
And that may not be your niche, but it's, you know, certainly something you're learning about. You know,
But now Sharice knows me. Now Denise Cox, the agent that gets a lot of listings over there, because she used to be the agent for Foxwood, like worked on Foxwood
yeah, they
staff
used to
and
have
was their person.
broker.
She used to be that person. And so now she knows me and knows that I communicate and reach out and ask questions.
Good deal.
So it's kind of interesting because it's not necessarily what I'd planned to do.
You know, my being a property sale. I didn't,
My
that was different.
my first
I didn't plan on, you know.
Yeah.
Through acres
Right.
and.
That's- yeah. I mean, that's my first.
Weeds this tall to
Yeah.
have property, but that's what we did and they bought it.
My first board duty call was, or deal was a 20-acre property. It was only $100,000, but I got to know the people. He was the former superintendent, Archie. And then when they wanted to sell their $500,000 house in Archie when he retired, I got to do that too. So,
Right.
so I took great care of him with the $100,000 deal, which looking back on it, I wish I could buy that for 20 acres. It's a nice property for $100,000 and, probably worth double that now, but,
So they're gonna build initial list.
yeah.
Took really good care of them and keep in contact with them.
And
Hopefully I'll be their listing agent when they, you know, decide to
Well, and-
do that.
Yeah, my first listing is it's on the market right now is land. I have 2 7.5-acre lots.
they ain't going anywhere yet, but they're still there.
I have a house going on the market this week though.
So, you know, there's, and we're talking about niches, you know, if you look up, I don't know if he's still number 1, but usually one of the number 1 agents in Cass County area, he's a land guy with United, Real, whatever. But you know, there's can be a lot of money in land deals, you know, so he specializes in land. He's probably, if he's like the other land guy I know who lives up north, he had a farming background and an agriculture background, and he worked for the Department of Conservation and land stuff and would help people use their land with conservation programs. So, I mean, he's got great insight that I'll never have, you know, so and there's, especially when it comes to determining the value of land, because the crops, no clue, but there's niches out there, all kinds of niches, and you may have one now and one in 5 years is totally different, you know, and that's okay.
So what did you guys write down for your niches?
Are they first time home buyers and I did like young adults looking to upgrade into a bigger,
Cool.
starting to plan for children or whatever. And I would like to advance to acreage properties.
Cool.
I'm honestly not very knowledgeable on that, but
You're talking like 3 or 5 acre home properties, or you talking like 40 acres?
like, what do you say, 30?
Yeah,
Like-
like
like
30, 40 acres or,
Like farms.
okay, cool.
Farm.
No,
So I'm not a farmer. I'm like, just like nice homes on cool crop, like acreage, like 5 to 15 or something.
Okay. So we live on 4 acres and I've learned a lot since having it. I mean, like she said, septic tanks. Didn't know a thing about one until I had one. And same with like, it's, when you have 100 trees, you better know a good tree person. And so I know a couple and I can refer them to people, but there's a lot of other expenses that come along with different types of property. And so if you wanted to be, this goes to you too, if you wanted to be the first time home buyer expert, what would you need to learn to qualify as that?
I think you need to learn it. I think you obviously shouldn't be like knowledgeable like 100% in like the lending process, but I feel like the money side is probably the most important side of it. First time home buyer. I mean, my brother just went through a first time home, but he's renting. It's not buying one,
Sure.
but he had to make up all his like how much he could afford and everything. So I feel like either how much you can afford or how you can finance or knowing the lending, a little bit of a lending process or what options lenders can give them
Sure.
that actually lead them to having equity in the home and not having debt in the home.
I agree. So, we've worked and Ash hasn't really closed a deal with Commerce yet, have you?
nope, just a pod.
So Josh has had buyers and some of them, one of them bought one of my listings. They did a deal with Commerce Bank. And back in 2008, when you guys were very young, Commerce and Bank of America, all these big banks got bailed out by the government. And part of that deal was, we're going to bail you out, but you've got to give back. So I sold a house here in Belton, 1 bedroom, tiny house. Not a little, it's a tiny house, but not like a tiny house.
It was a
And,
small home.
and this kid bought it, who I'd known forever. He made $16 an hour at O'Reilly's. He'd been there since he was 16. He was 22. So he didn't make that much money, but he bought a house which was under 100 grand at the time. And at closing, Commerce gave him a check. So Bank of America has similar programs. If you're kind of limited income, looking in specific areas, they'll pay your closing. They'll probably give you some kind of credit at closing. And how the kid walked away with 800 or 1,200 bucks at closing. And he got a house. So he got it at mom and dad's house. And like I've been telling Josh for years, I'm like, think of all the things a 20-year-old can do if they're not under mom and dad's roof anymore. Mom and dad may not want you smoking stuff that, even though it's legal, mom and dad may not want you having a boyfriend, girlfriend over. Think of those angles that might appeal to a 20-something, and, freedom, getting out from under the parents' wing or whatever, and being able to explore. And that marketing wouldn't work for me, but would it work for you guys and Josh? Oh yeah, and you can take it as far as you want, and as far as pushing the limits of kind of marketing. But there's approaches you can take, and if you're able to find out, hey, Bob's paying, or your age, Connor's paying
Yeah, we don't have that many Bobs.
$1,500 a month for rent for a 1 bedroom apartment. Could you get a house payment? What kind of house could he afford at $1,500 a month? And then more importantly, what's that going to do for him in 5 years? The equity, and a lot of it, I think, is figuring out what's important. Payment. Your age folks, and a lot of people are very payment focused. So if you get the idea of what a payment looks like for a house versus what rent looks like, and the benefits, I think that's where you can really attract people.
So
and educate yourself.
there's an agent that I met at the conference we were at last week, and she actually just posted a video. She's in Jacksonville, Florida, but she posted a video along those lines because she does target a lot of, Jacksonville's a completely different market than what we've got here. But she posted a video that was, this is how much it costs to rent a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment in Jacksonville. This this is how much, I mean, but it's the same here as
Yeah.
like, or
It's already-
closer here,
It's all
Like-
relative to the income and stuff.
but this is how much it costs to rent it. This is what your mortgage could be for it. And obviously has, yeah, it's a couple $100 difference.
You buy a 3-bedroom home and
Yeah.
Yeah,
And obviously it always has the little disclaimer on those type of things that like, I am not a lender. This, depends on your credit and down payment and, it has the disclaimer that you're not a lender and it depends on their financial situation. But
I don't feel like a lot. Like I'm looking at that my dad is, he's works with credit a bunch, so he's pretty, he's trained us about our credit. But not a lot of people really work on their credit, like they don't really have a credit card, they don't work on their credit, or like they've never seen their credit a day in their life.
so that's a niche right there. And or part of your branding and marketing should be educating people on credit, and from a 20-something perspective.
and
And commerce, this kid that bought the house, 0 credit. And 0 credit is better than no credit. So, or negative credit, pardon me. And but they used his Netflix payment history, his car insurance payment history, and they even had to do extra work because he paid mom paid it. So they showed him withdrawing money from the bank, mom depositing that same amount in the bank, and that's how the insurance was paid. So commerce worked hard to get this kid into a house. And then there was a third thing like that. No credit cards. They didn't have any debt. He got beater cars because he's not like a lot of young people that want to have a nice car that I know your parents may help you with yours, but a lot of younger people, and that's okay. There's no shame in that. But a lot of younger people, they work for 15 or 16 bucks an hour and live at home, and then they get a $400 a month car payment. They are stuck. They can't get a house and even renting stuff if a third of your income is going to your car payment and your insurance. So even educating someone like that, don't buy a
and
2023 car, buy a
and it doesn't necessarily have to be you having all that knowledge either, or us having that knowledge, or even, I mean, when we're looking at the clients that you guys are maybe, that's going to be people that are trying to still have money in retirement and have money for later in life, where people our age should be thinking about those things, but they're not. Or people in your guys' age bracket is close, are maybe thinking about those things more, and like they don't want to work forever. But it's not just you knowing that information, maybe you know some of it, but then having the connections and you being the hub for the resources. And so maybe that's what your thing is I know all these people that know all the things. So I don't have to know the things. But I can send you to Lisa, who can tell you about the Belton School District tax things. And I can send you to Paul, who can help you find your estate sale people. Like,
Well, and like for you, I think it'd be really worthwhile to maybe grab someone else here in the office who's also younger and say, hey, let's go take, I believe they have I know they have classes at KCRER about first-time buyer financing programs. And it's like CE credit, continuing ed credit. And then also, following someone on YouTube,
I'll go to a class with you, Taylor.
contact a credit repair person. You ever heard of a firm?
Firm,
You
Afterpay,
ever used them?
up.
Yeah, I mean,
Have you? A lot of those. I've talked to Todd about that. They had a young couple buy in a house, and a firm doesn't show up on your credit report. You know what a firm is? You probably don't. So if you're on Amazon and you want to buy something that's $200, you can click the little payment and make 6 payments.
I've seen it. I don't know
Yeah,
what it is.
same here. I've never used it. It's basically like credit, but it's not reported. It's not on your credit report. But when so Todd is helping this young couple, and the wife had been going on to buying stuff online like everybody, but she had 6 different little payments going out of her bank account every month to an item that she bought online, and was making those little monthly payments for 6 months.
It's like getting your Nebraska furniture credit card.
But
Whatever.
it doesn't show up on your credit. But when he sees the bank account, the bank statements, he says, what's this 25 for? What's this 40 for? What's this 30 for? And it's every month. So they accumulative, they're like $200 a month and payments going out.
Yeah.
So things like that, we're not using them, but your peers are, and saying, hey, be careful with those. Or if you want to buy a house in 6 months, don't do any of those now, just little things like that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. So, but there's a lot of things like that that's what I was saying. Younger people, especially, are focused on that monthly payment, and that's part of that. So, even a little education on that, hey, don't do this, or if you want to buy soon, stop doing this for the time being, So, but so, what's next, kiddo?
What's next? Yeah. Lisa, what were your niches? We have a few minutes still.
It's the shotgun approach. I really need to narrow it down. And a lot of it has to do with in the next 2 years, I don't know where we're gonna exactly be. I'd be here or maybe in your shoes going back to where I grew up and having to kind of
Start all over again.
Um, so here, I mean, downsizers, there's a lot of people, like the people I'm working with now, they're selling their larger home and they're not necessarily downsizing, but they're moving back to be closer to parents and
Yeah.
and things like that. And that's kind of our situation too. But, I also have lots of friends with kids who are in that first time market and their friends look to me as, rental figure.
Right.
And there's that natural trust there to help them and educate them on how to do that. And then here, in the Belton community, a lot of the teachers and people like that, their families are growing and they need to move up. But I know that almost all of it tends to be more in the suburban, urban kind of area,
Mhm.
not so much property and stuff way, way out. But like if I go home, it's a different thing. Like my thing back home would have been historic homes, because that's what I did back home.
Okay.
And how I lived and restored, lived in that kind of community. And my real estate agent friends, that's what they do. So, I mean, there's always that, but that's way far off. So I'm a little scattered.
I am too. I could totally see. I mean, like I live on land in my head. 4 acres. I won't say land. I live on a bigger yard, and so I can relate to people who want to move out of town like we did. We were in the HOA. We moved away from that, and there's certainly benefits to that.
I'm at 4 acres close by. I don't, my second sale was way out in Archie.
Oh, yeah.
Multiple trips to Archie and
Yeah, yeah, and
I would.
yeah, and that's where also especially once you have a more consistent business, you can say, hey, Camille and Colton, you give me 25%, you can have this client, and if assuming the client's okay with that, and just not do that, and I don't know if I would for Archie, but if I were going further, Butler or something, I'd maybe give that to someone else, depending on the price. If it's 120,000, I might say, hey, James, you're in Butler,
Exactly.
but then I got a $250,000 one in Clinton right now.
But
So,
I'm not at a point in my career.
right.
And unless there was something that was really off about it and I was not comfortable and
Right.
didn't think it was legit or it was gonna be way too complicated, I'm not in a position to say no. I'm saying yes to it
Yeah.
all. And if I can't do it, I know somebody who can do it. But I still am in that learning process, so I can't give up and say no to a learning opportunity.
Right.
Because it's
I
all
agree.
the things that are gonna benefit me at some point, and I have the time to do that right now.
Sure.
Whereas hopefully later on, as my career grows, I won't have time to do that.
Right.
But I have time, so, I mean, I can either sit idle or I can take every opportunity and use it
Right.
as a learning experience.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I haven't turned down many things at all. So, because my business has been very roller coastery, and like I talked with a couple, it was a referral from a agent from our coaching network, and so I would have been paying them 25%, but it's a potential $700,000 commercial property in Overland Park. I partnered with Nate on it, and then Nate and I would split the other 75%. So I would make a lot of money on it, but I could say I sold a commercial property and I learned something in the process. And
Yeah.
and so
I mean, that was the same with the hospital.
the hospital, yeah, I was going to work with Swaggart on that initially, but his schedule was kind of tough. But then that didn't didn't work out. So unfortunately, they decided to auction the property instead of using an agent. So,
Good.
but that happens. But there's, I mean,
So when you're looking at your brand, kind of what you want to figure out is your messaging that you want to is your messaging and what you want to build your business around. It's not necessarily the only clients that you're going to take because sometimes you just need business. It's not necessarily the only clients you're going to, the only type of people you're going to market to. But you just wanted to kind of give you a guide and focus and something you can be recognized for. So for our team, one big thing in all of our branding is that we're a family. So family oriented is something that's important for our brand. And that's what some people are, a lot of people look for people that are family oriented, especially when you're looking at younger families or older people who are trying to get their parents moved to a different situation, to a community where there's maintenance, whatever that looks like. So figuring out kind of what you want it's not your legacy because you're still living it, but kind of what you want your bumper sticker to say.
And I think I kind of narrowed down into the education, educate my clients, stay with them through it all, kind of like a good
Yeah.
teacher would,
sure.
that loyalty would. Also married to a Marine, so there's that integrity and that,
That's cool.
He's not licensed, so he just assists and does whatever, but he's with me
Right.
wherever I go.
Sure.
'Cause I don't do open houses by myself. He's around and he's friendly.
He's friendly and chatty.
So, I kind of have been really honing in on those values that come with lifelong educator, getting involved in the community, know the community, married to, Marine, the military aspect of, you can trust us
Sure.
type thing. We're gonna stay with you through it all, and problem solve. And do that.
Sounds like a good branding message right there. Have you kind of put that down and thought out what that would look like? I mean, you've said it verbally, but have you tried making that part of marketing?
I'm not sure, because I don't exactly know. When I communicate, yes.
Yeah.
When I do my mailers, yes. Then,
Cool.
like, I don't send any mailer out without a letter with it saying
Yeah.
who we are, who I am, and what we kind of stand for and introduce
Gotcha.
myself.
Do you have a business Facebook page?
I do,
Does it say that? Anything about that?
yes.
Okay, cool. What about your website, your KW website that most of us neglect?
It does.
It does, good for you.
It does, and it also has my logo on there.
Cool.
And then my husband is an avid fisherman, and he has the Simplified Fishing Guide page, and that is
Oh, cool.
sponsored by Lisa Cummings Real Estate.
Oh, nice.
So then his tournaments, everything has my logo on it.
Oh, nice.
So all his
Nice.
fishing tournaments are sponsored by Lisa Cummings Real Estate.
Everything, it's a division of the.
That's smart.
Sorry.
That's very smart.
There's stickers on the boat,
Nice.
with the office phone number, Darren and Keller Williams, Southland Partners.
Just for you two and the auditors, Lisa puts the office phone number on it, 816-331-2323.
So that's awesome. So, I mean, that's certainly you're figuring something out. And I think there's,
It needs to be tweaked, it needs work,
Yeah.
but it's.
have you chatted with Gemini or ChatGPT or anybody to work on kind of like where you can tell it, help me find my people and
So I've got a prompt that I'll put in. There's a short one on here. I have a longer one that's a little more in detail. I do them when I'm driving because I feel silly talking to.
I see that.
So I have a longer one that's a little more in depth. So I'll put that one in the group too, in the comments on the post that I made with this worksheet on it. And if you copy paste it into chat or speak it to your chat, I do it while I'm driving because I feel silly just talking to chat. My dad talks to chat all the time.
More than my kids.
Yeah. Um,
And you gotta be careful
But-
with chat because it will tell you everything's a great idea. So unless you tell it, hey, be judgmental, be negative, be like my mom when I was in 8th grade, whatever, say, judge me
yeah.
harshly.
So
But
on the free app, I just have free chat on my phone. I have his paid version on my computer. When you hit the little, it's pink on mine. I don't know what color it is, but it has like the lines on it. You talk to chat and it talks back to you.
Oh, okay. I use chat almost daily for stuff and I've done some of this.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Yeah. So this way you can actually,
This is good with the question.
yeah, then you can actually talk to it. I have an hour and 15-minute drive to the office. So I do a lot of that when I'm on my drive to the office or on my drive home from the office from here. Because I'm in my car by myself and I can just talk to chat on my Bluetooth.
I do it while
I have the paid version.
Yeah, and it's the same. It's possible on the free version if you don't have the paid version. So then you just hit this. I read it, the prompt, and then it'll start asking you the questions.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna do that today.
And like I said, I do it when I'm driving because you don't have to type anything while you're doing it. And I feel like talking to it, I don't have to be as fine-tuned as when I'm typing it.
and it's much quicker.
Yeah, and it's quicker than trying to type it out and then wait for it to respond.
And even if you enter that prompt, you can add in more, like be very judgmental. Don't be all positive and flowery and nice, really challenge me on my answers or whatever. You
Yes.
can,
Like, oh, that's a great idea.
yeah. And always you can tell it you want to invent something and it'll tell you, oh yeah, you can make millions with that. And then
Yeah.
so or like a website. But so which website in the works.
These questions.
So
No, just
so you just give it the prompt.
at the very end.
So it's the very end, and I'll post one that's a little more detailed in the group. And it'll just start asking you questions. It'll interview you and start asking you questions, and then you just talk to it back and forth. And then always at the end, when I talk to it like that, I say, "Give me a version I can copy and paste,"
And ask
because then you can save it.
then is it set up to give you a summary at the end?
This one's not, but the
So-
longer one is.
Yeah, so you can tell it, all right, based on what we've just discussed, do you feel what do you feel would be a great potential brand for me or a good who would be my niche or how should I market to my niche or whatever and really kind of figure that out. And I'll tell it things like I don't want to spend a lot of money on marketing. My marketing's mainly going to be Facebook or whatever. So what's an affordable, budget-friendly way I can do marketing? Because not everybody wants to spend $5,000 on postcards a year. So however you can figure that out.
Yeah, so this AI brand interview prompt that I'm going to put in the just in the Southland Partners group, it does have, it's a little more detailed and stuff. So I would use this one more so than the one that's on this worksheet.
I put in Lisa Cummings real estate brand pillars.
Gotta make a quick call. Bear with me.
But
Grab back. It is 11:05.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody has stuff to do. We're not in a hurry, but
This has been really informative.
yeah, and I know we kind of jump all over the place, but I think it's a
good conversation.
yeah, and that's why, honestly, that's why we had the class written,
hello.
with the, for a classroom setting, and then I had chat redo it.
Sure.
We tossed it into chat, and I said, make it a small group.
Okay.
one-on-one. And then we obviously still did this. So
Yeah, well,
follow
they've
up with that.
decided to
But I think
cancel.
when you're talking branding and you're talking your business and what you want that to look like and where you want that to go,
done before closing.
the
So they
the
wanted to
first thing
cancel.
that's
And
important to figure
sadly,
out is,
the agent.
and it can change. Your brand can change as you
until
change,
after
you grow and
they
develop,
did
and as your
it,
business
they
changes,
released
it grows and develops.
So
So Lisa, if you guys move in 2 years,
they
your brand is going to be different when you move than
immediately.
what your brand is here. And part of that's
So they
because of where you'll
so
be,
they
but part
called
of
him
it's
after
because
they
of
decided we're going to cancel us on a lease.
that's
Called him and
that's a
said,
different Lisa than the Lisa that's here right now.
and he said, we could
And that's the same for me. So right now we're up in rural Missouri where I don't know people.
And they were like, nope.
Like I just don't. The county I'm in, live in Ray County. The county has 12,000 people. I grew up in Belton, but a lot of my sphere in Belton and Raymore, Cass County, whatever at this point, it's the same, like people that
I agree. Yeah,
that
I
talk
guess
to on a
it's a
regular basis that
couple
aren't the people I went to high school with.
each with
It's a lot of the same sphere that my dad has. Brother.
His mom's age, and yeah, if she doesn't get around well, so they're like, what if she has to use the bathroom? We're gonna have a week without a toilet, and then we got it. It's
Right.
usually like,
They're gonna be
sometimes it's like 2 or 3 days because the county has to
or
back
whatever. Yeah.
process, but still, it's only usually just a few days, and so that was their
Yeah.
reasoning.
Don't ever step on
And
it
Right.
or cross that line. So, there's.
that's how it seems.
Yeah.
That's what, they.
If they reach out,
No, he's
right. Or if they reach out to you, that's different than you.
Right, and I don't know.
Let me right.
There's plenty of people out there.
that is- leaves us with basically getting it back on the market as soon as we can, so we can find someone else.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
So that's hard.
Right.
Well, and that's in the area that I live in. There's 2 agents whose name's on everything.
Sure.
And it just is what it is. And so
Yeah.
I'm trying to put myself. I would love to be able to sell in Ray County. And I haven't looked at July numbers are out yet. In the month of June, 24 houses / properties sold in Ray County. That's not in the town.
Yeah, that's in the whole county.
That's in the whole county. So it's also a small market. So I'm trying to branch out into like Clay County and like Liberty and Excelsior Springs. And then the
They might
tricky for me
year.
where I live
But
is I'm right here in Ray County.
I know people.
Carroll County's over
that
here,
situation
and then
that-
Caldwell County's right above me. Well, Caldwell and Carroll County aren't in Heartland of Ellen.
So you never know. I don't know details, but
Yeah, I'm that far out.
but yeah,
So,
it's it was too easy. I guess we couldn't just get
Carroll
one
County
showing and get
me.
it sold. It was just too easy for us.
Caldwell County's in St. Joe. So they're not in Kansas City real estate,
Sure.
Heartland MLS. So that's part of the issue I run into as well is if I have someone that wants to look at a house in Polo, I have to pay for extra access. And then where is it?
Oh, okay.
Is it worth it? Yeah, no, I'm way out in the middle of.
Yeah, my husband gets
Well,
involved, and some of those people want to buy.
yeah, well, hopefully we'll get some
We have
showings
one for
again
sale.
right away, and we'll be able to get some traffic in there.
Like, yeah.
You know,
no.
and,
Property.
Say we've got one. It's a Clinton address, I think.
property out that location. It's not.
Exactly.
If it was here in town, that's a different market, a different scenario. But down there, if we can get a couple showings a week, and it's cheap. Sure.
Of like, what are we talking about? Because I'm gonna be driving an hour and 15 minutes down there, and then those properties aren't close to each other. But. Not saying no.
Definitely, I would definitely
Right.
do that if it's not under contract, and I would, yeah,
So
we'll
this
just get some. Because it'll look totally different without stuff, because she's got quite a bit of stuff. Even just like
Oh, yeah.
bigger pieces
And
of
then it
furniture,
came out
for
of it.
someone younger might have.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure how to get on Gemini. That sounds.
That's what happens when you have years of stuff. It just kind of takes.
Yeah, it's a Google thing. I'm gonna stop.
So
sharing.
so it sounds like she's
Thank you for those of you in Zoom.
coming to terms.
I'm gonna go ahead
I
and
know she wasn't excited initially.
disconnect my laptop and stuff from Zoom, and we'll shut the Zoom off.
Right.
I'm happy to continue having conversations with anybody that wants to have them, but I'm also, we're gonna respect the length of this Zoom call and not make it a bajillion hours.
Okay, all right, well, I'm gonna go get some work done.
All right.